fact that the Indian side would zoom in on a peaceful pigeon and concluded that this might be a Chinese spy pigeon is really very amusing in itself, very scandalous in the second place, and also very laughable in the third place. Now, between China and India, the two largest populations in the world, each of China and India has a population of more than 1.4 billion people. We really need to spend more resources and attention on how to build up peace rather than fueling the suspicion of each other and weaponizing everything you can find or even suspecting a pigeon as a spy. Let's hope this pigeon will be the last suspected spy between China and India, and we will no longer suffer any overhang from this innocent pigeon being suspected as a spy. And I do hope India will really focus on what matters most for India, that is to build up their economy, to make sure that the Indian economy will benefit from all the relevant countries, especially from China, which is today about 6 times as big as India when we talk about the size of the Chinese economy versus the Indian economic size. This is truly what China and India need to focus upon. India wants to speed up their economic reform, opening to the outside world, introducing foreign direct investment into India, and to a certain extent, there is kind of economic competition between China and India. However, I hope the Indian government officials will realize that China as an economy is completely different from India as an economy today, and we have different challenges and opportunities. It is reported that the distinguished Indian External Affairs Minister said recently that India has no fear about China. India does not need to fear about China. I think he says the exactly correct way in a very eminent manner. And he said that with a lot of decency and dignity for the Chinese people as well as for the Indian people. And to a very large extent, China and India can actually help each other rather than in a very simplistic way of competing with each other because of the differences in the size, in the magnitude, and the economic and technological sophistication of the economies of these two largest populations in the world. Eventually, I hope both China and India will be able to make it to the top 3 economies in the world and will really become shining examples for all these countries in the global south, rather than, for example, India and China suspecting each other and try to weaponize our relations or try to instill a geopolitical dosage, which will be very lethal for China and India in our bilateral relations.